Well, hi guys and girls, Emma again. Welcome back to the dark corner of the spare room. Couple of machines, a few machines actually, a few additions to the workshop. And I haven't really showed any of them on video because I've been a bit slack. Sorry about that. I really feel like I probably haven't been really in the mood to shoot much video, but here we go. Wanted to do this. First machine is this one. Picked this up through a group of friends who said it was for sale, and they went to Sydney and picked it up for me, which is awesome. Pretty good machine actually, and something a little bit unusual. I had to put a motor on it and give it a clean up, and I've modified it a bit, so I'm going to show you a bit about that. But this is a hip swirl tapping machine, which is a pretty awesome thing. Looks a bit like a drill press, but for tapping small holes in panels easily and quickly, or in blocks or in metal or plastic or whatever, it's a terrific thing. It's got two clutches in here and a lever. So I'll try and get a better angle than this because this is really a bit crappy, and we'll have a bit closer look at it and see it in operation. So it's got an electric motor back here. Don't know if you can see that in the belt drive. Electric motor goes backwards, so this belt's actually crossed. That works for us. Has two belts here. Going to tap a couple of holes with it here. And you'll see it reverse. It's running backwards there. We push down on this into the hole, we'll start to run forward. When we get right through, we can pick it up and it'll run backwards again. So we've got a beautifully tapped hole. We can do another one quick as that. And we've got two. If we have a look at that, we've got three tapped M5 holes, quick as that, in aluminium anyway, with a gun tap, so pretty good for that. We'll have a look at the inside and see how it works. This was a bit of a, well, it wasn't a mess, but inside it was sort of a bit incomplete and obviously hadn't been used for quite some time when I got it. We'll pull the guard off, we'll see how it works. It's got oil points here and here, it needs plenty of oil, and it tends to seize a bit because these are only steel cone clutches. If you don't, if we engage this and push down on it, this actually engages this bottom clutch here and spins in a clockwise condition. If we lift it up, that's spinning clockwise. If we lift it up, it runs the opposite way and untaps itself. So all it's got is two chrome clutches with springs in them, and these two belts. This belt runs around here and runs these in opposite directions. So the belt's this shaft here on the back. Have a look at this shaft here on the back. These two pulleys run in opposite directions. They're just loose on the pulley with the shaft running through, and there's tensioning here. So there's a counterbalance at the back, and if we run through that again, you can see that runs forward nicely, lots of control, and back. So pretty good little machine for tapping holes in any quantity, in small parts. Once you've got it set up, this lever here is to stop the part, lift it up and just slide underneath, and this knob here is to give you some depth stop, so we can adjust this here up inside, and if we want to tap lined holes, then we can just adjust it so that it's the right depth. So really enjoying this machine. It's seen a lot of use. Tappy tap tap, And space is a bit of a premium here, but this is one thing that's a pretty useful thing to have. This machine was made about, I think this one's just after World War II in Sydney by Hipswell. Hipswells were taken to court for racketeering in World War I. That's about the only bit of history I can find about them, and that's probably where they made their money. But this machine was still very much in production by World War II and afterwards, and pretty useful thing. It's the right colour, Craig, so you'll be happy with that. We'll get to the colour in a little minute. But quite easy, nice, good machine to run. Another machine that I haven't really showed much on the channel. I did say in live stream that I'd picked it up, and it is pretty grotty and dirty because it does get a bit of use. It's here on my grinding bench, I guess. Is this little deep-bit grinder or single lip cutter grinder. It's a pretty useful thing. I'm not going to do anything with it in the video and show you how it works, but because it's a slow machine to operate and you've really got to sit down with it for a couple of hours to make any real tooling. But it does get a bit of use. It's got various wheels and collets and things like that. I'd like to get a video out on it, but just to let you know that it is here in the shop, and it does get a bit of use. Dubbed the wheels of God because it's slow and it does a good, pretty fine job. Really pleased with this machine. I like this machine, and it was a pretty major capital purchase actually. It's probably one of the more expensive machines I've ever bought. It's pretty helpful when I use it though. We've still got wet paint here a day later because of the humidity and stuff in the air, so I'm trying not to touch that. But good machine. It's got its own light. Hasn't yet got a vacuum cleaner attachment, but it's certainly something that we're thinking about pretty serious. But you see, this is actually needs a wipe because it's all covered in grinding dust everywhere, because the thing does get a fair bit of use. So it's another machine that I bought, and actually bought this in conjunction with Craig from Craig's Workshop. Check him out, because yeah, there's a bit of a story to that, but if you see his video about deep-bit grinders, you can see that. Not my story to tell, but I wanted to get one for a while, and it's a pretty useful little machine. Gets a bit of use. Generally I shift the linisher, which sits right here beside it, and if I'm working on it, this linisher goes on the floor. I've really got to find something better for that. But these little machines, although they're only small, they take up a fair bit of bench space, and all in all, each one takes some time and some space to set up and use. So that's another machine that's we picked up pretty recently. Just wanted to show that on the video and sort of say, well, I have this, pretty awesome, and it does get a fair bit of use. Another machine that only really arrived this week. Pretty useful little tool actually. I really like this, and I'll probably do a video on this as well at some point. But this is a bead roller. It's a copy of an American made one, made in China, and it's from Hare and Forbes. I bought it from Hare and Forbes on sale. I did order another one from another online retailer, and he said that when he went to find it, he couldn't, so he can't refund my money. And this machine here is from the big machinery wholesaler or retailer here in Australia, and it's pretty good. It's got a crank on this side, so it all sort of it needs probably a camera mount of some sort on it, same as all these machines, but it's got a crank handle here, and this wheel here turns, and this one turns in opposite direction. So it's very useful for making beads and it's very useful for making beads and features and things in sheet metal work. Working on this little toy racer, and this is a test piece for the bonnet. This is work I've done with it this week, just to put some strengthening ribs in there, give it a bit of a feature that looks good. More than capable of doing that, and that's really what it was bought for. Comes with all sorts of rollers, and there'll be more to come, I'm sure. I've got all sorts of ideas for this. Not least is to make a water tank for the Stuart 400. But that's a pretty heavy industrial machine by my standards. It feels a bit like it's probably a little bit heavy for this workshop, and if I'd built one, I probably would have made it quite a lot lighter, because anything I'm going to be doing with it's going to be fairly small. But it's got no problems at all rolling a fairly solid bead in a sheet of tin like that. If you want to feature, that's stretched a bit there because of the shape of the bit of tin, but any feature that you want in a piece of tin, that's the tool to do it. And it's a start on a sheet metal journey, is something that interests me a bit, and really don't have nice equipment, and it's something you do need nice equipment to do nice work with, I think. So this turned up this week, really pleased with it at this point. There's a couple of niggly little things that need fixing, but we're onto them, and there's certainly jobs that with any Chinese machine that need to be done, and they can be sort of sorted out. This stop here is a bit rattly. Need some more rollers for this, which was a given anyway, to do different jobs, and some of the adjustment, and in particular this collar here where it sits in the cradle. If we adjust this off, you've got a fairly rotten sort of a fit there, so we tighten this up and it's no longer a problem. Whether we'll live with that or whether we'll fix it, I'm not sure. Anyway, that's the bead roller, and it looks really good. I'm kind of pleased with that. Just wanted to introduce you. Done some artwork on that too. It's got Groovalicious written on top here in a nice script in purple, so pretty cool. I think I love it. The other crazy thing that's happened in this workshop as far as new machinery is this little bandsaw. Unfortunately, as much as I'd love to, there's really not enough room here to move the camera back far enough to actually see the whole saw. But this is So I was going to get that as it fell off the end. However, missed it. Was a lot closer than I thought. Nice piece of stock there for something maybe. It's nice and parallel. Cuts like a dream really. It'll face up and clean up for something. So put that aside. I won't need that. This piece was overstock and the supplier I bought it off won't cut for me. So it's really awesome to be able to do it myself. Anyway, this machine. Live stream went quiet a few weeks ago. Didn't know if anyone was still watching or listening, and try to keep the conversation going, but I'm usually a bit boring, so it's quite understandable, you know. But I've got to sort of keep an eye on it, because sometimes when live stream disappears, or when chat disappears, everyone's fallen asleep and it's easier just to finish the live stream. Anyway, everyone assured me they were still there, and we kept going. Not a dribble about nothing probably, but apparently there were a quantity of the audience, or a number of people who were watching the live stream and joining in, who threw the hat round or took the hat round in Australian colloquialism and collected enough money to buy me a bandsaw, which is really nice and completely unfounded, but there's no grounds to do that at all. But I really do appreciate it, and it arrived here in a mystery box with a mystery tin of paint actually, which is green, and instructions to repaint it. But this is beautiful blue and cream, and I don't think I will. I think I'm going to put Chewy on here in green paint. But apart from that, this machine will stay as it is, and the green paint, which will be much appreciated, will probably go to painting the mill at some point when we get it all together. This piece here is actually for the vertical lift on the mill table. So the second time round, it's a bit of K1040, something like that, and some machining projects, so we just had to shorten it up a little bit, and we've done that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. I really appreciate anyone who has sort of subscribed or joins in the live stream, because that seems to be all I've done for about 6 months, and I really am sorry about that. But this will hopefully break the ice a little bit, and I'll post something else. So really appreciate you watching. Lots of cool channels on YouTube, but appreciate you coming, sort of dropping in to say hello here, and we'll have some content out soon. Be kind to each other.